Hey guys, Thomas Sicily Jr. here, aka Mustached Tom, here to review the movie Smurfs: The Lost Village. Now, to be honest, this movie, based on the trailers, I was almost tempted not to go see this movie based on how much the trailers revealed with the whole other Smurf village. But I was like, you know what, whatever, it's fine. So I went to go see Smurfs, The Lost Village, and here's my review of it. It's a pretty solid movie. I mean, I wasn't too into the Smurfs. I kind of watched it here and there, I suppose, along with other shows that came around that time. I'm thinking of that other movie that's very much like the Smurfs, the underwater one. I believe it was called I don't know. Anyway, getting back to this movie, the movie starts off with Papa Smurf, generally narration, the character introduction with Clumsy starting the story off, and the other individuals we follow, including Hefty and Brainy, and of course Smurfette being the one that really gets the ball rolling, as her story is one of being created by Gargamel, and she doesn't know her purpose still. So one day, when we're following her, we see that Brainy has this device that pretty much tells what each Smurf does, even though most of them would theoretically already be, we would already know what they do. But Smurfette decides to try, and the device, which has magical elements, I guess, is absorbed by Smurfette, which comes into play at the end of the movie. But for now, we see Gargamel doing what he does and making these freeze pellets, I guess I'll call them. And of course, Azriel being the smart cat, but still kind of dumb-ish when it comes to actually capturing, and of course, their bird. Azriel spots them, and then Gargamel eventually catches on. So Smurfette travels too far into the forest, and she sees past into these walls where she sees these eyes of another character. I believe it's probably the talkative female Smurf that she comes to later meet. Maybe not, I don't know. But anyways, they end up running their own separate ways, along with the other Smurfs that are with her, which are the other three you see on the screen right there to my right. So anyways, the vulture eventually captures her, and he takes this hat which was left behind, and then he asks about, where this village is, and he tries to get a location. Of course, Azriel sees it on the map first, and then Gargamel spots it. So he's getting ready to capture these new mysterious Smurfs, and when they get ready to help the rest of the Smurfs help Smurfette, they get out and they make their way, and then Papa Smurf, you see in the commercials, he troubles them, and then Smurfette's the smart one, being like, oh, yeah, we'll take this punishment, and then essentially leads them out, or leads herself out first, and then the others join her, and they make their way toward the Smurf village, this lost village. So they go deeper into the forest. We pretty much travel with them, and at one point you see them on that scene with the raft, which Gargamel apparently is also on now, because he had got separated at one point, like he was chasing them and something happened along those ways. But anyways, gotta keep that intensity, I guess. So Gargamel gives chase and then he drowns almost, but he just tricking them, luring them in, does what he does, being the villain that he is, essentially getting them all wiped out into this other area. Brainy blames Hefty and Smurfette primarily for the being the ones who are like, oh, we gotta help him. So they have their little argument moment. In typical adventure fashion, that point of the film comes. But they are quickly interrupted by the new Smurfs, and we meet, I believe her name was Stormy Smurf, the quiet one, the talkative one. And we meet Widow Smurf, who is the leader of their group. And I'll just call them the rest of the group Lady Smurfs for now, because I think that'll be easier to distinguish. Even though we don't, once we leave Smurf Village, we don't get a lot from them except Papa Smurf until the end, where, everyone's happy in celebration because everyone wins. But before that, of course, Gargamel eventually figures out where they are after Papa Smurf gets there and is questioning what the heck is going on, and gets the eyes for a little widow for a moment there. But Gargamel ruins the fun and captures the majority of them, of course, except Smurfette, who is immune to his magic as well. So Gargamel doubles down on the blame game, saying that it's all her fault that this is happening and this is her purpose, her destiny, and he's gonna do what he always does and tries to use their magic to become an even stronger wizard, which, since I've never seen the show, I never really knew how strong or weak Gargamel was prior, but I guess he needs more magic than what he already has, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, Smurfette realizes that since she is not technically a Smurf, his magic won't work. So she devises a plan to fake sell out the rest of the Smurf village, and she wants to be turned back into her former self, the first version we see of her at the very beginning of the movie, the evil version, I guess. And I think that was in the Smurfs too, that other Smurfette. I don't know. I think that was her design, but it looks very similar to that, but in this style of animation, of course. The better style of animation in this better world for the Smurfs, of course. But anyways, getting back to this movie, Smurfette tricks Gargamel. She absorbs all the magic and apparently blasts him away, but makes her turn back into her clay form, which is what she was made of. So the Smurfs and the female Smurfs mourn the loss of Smurfette, and they bring her to this location. I believe they went back to the Smurf village somewhere around there, and they mourn her loss. And their combined magic from their loss and the power of magic springs forth and brings new life into Smurfette. And from there, you even see it in the trailers. You see a bit of the dance party between the Smurfs and the Lady Smurfs, and that is the end of the movie. So while the trailers gave away a good chunk of what this movie was, I still found it engaging enough. I was just sort of along for the ride though, and I feel like this is meant for a younger audience to get into the Smurfs, unlike the previous two movies. It's very much in their world, and the animation feels a lot more closer to that of the original. And I found the new Lady Source to be enjoyable enough to, even though, again, it's all in the trailers, what their behavior is like, at least the ones we see. And again, actually, just like the Smurfs, the rest of them are just sort of delegated to the background, really. So, that makes sense. I mean, large numbers of characters, you can't really, get into too much detail into all of them. So you get your four Smurfs that you get focus on, and then Papa Smurf being the other exception, and then Willow, and then her like two other female Smurfs get that focus of actually having character. So I would give this movie a 6 out of 10. It was okay enough. Again, just an enjoyable ride. Like, it'd be pretty close to a 7 out of 10 even. But, it's an okay movie, I find, even though whoever was behind the trailers for this, I would honestly would not want them to make trailers for any movie I would ever want to make, that is for sure. Uh, but again, I guess we do live in spoiler land world now of movies where everything has to be revealed, so I guess that's that. Hope this movie did well enough where maybe they can continue to maybe make a series, maybe like reboot the actual Smurf series. Um, because this is DreamWorks, so they did How to Train Your Dragon series, I believe. So would they pick up the Smurf series again? I don't know. That's what I would hope that comes out of this movie, for the most part. And with that being said, I'll end this review here. So, with that being said, I'm Thomas the Jr., aka Mustached Tom, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!